Hello and welcome back to the Round No.1 YouTube channel. I've been away on a much needed vacation and I burned through every hour I had at work. So starting Monday, unless a public holiday saves me, I'm basically locked in for the rest of the year. But we're back and we're starting strong. Now today I want to start off by talking about Chris Jericho's return to AEW. This happened Thursday night in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, his hometown, inside the Canada Life Center. According to WrestleTix, the building holds about 15,945, but AEW's massive stage setup drops the max to 9,824. The current configuration was 4,856, and AEW distributed about 4,418 tickets. For a comparison, the last time AEW ran this building, May 1st, 2024, they handed out about 5,377 tickets. So yes, the building was down for Dynamite this week. Now, let me be straight with you. Jericho's return was a dud. I didn't watch Dynamite. I don't watch AEW programming anymore. But the clip hit my feed and I checked it out. And what shocked me wasn't the moment itself. It was the complete lack of buzz leading up to it. AEW was in Winnipeg, Jericho's hometown. He's been gone for like a year, I believe, and yet there was no real speculation online. None of the free wrestling news sites were hinting at it. There was no fan chatter. There was also no, this could be the night energy. Nothing. Then when Judas hit, the crowd popped because, of course, they did. But the second the music faded, the building went quiet. Jericho noticed it, and you could see him trying to milk a reaction, trying to build the moment, trying to get that welcome home roar. And it just never came and never became a moment. And if you believe the reaction I just described, calling it a dud isn't unfair. Jericho's a legend. A year away should mean something, but AEW didn't treat it like something. So here's the truth. Most wrestling returns don't magically become moments. They're manufactures. Promoters leak things, creative plant seeds in the programming. You build anticipation. You create the feeling that something is happening. AEW did none of that. From a business standpoint, allegedly, freezing Jericho's contract makes sense. He's a recognizable name. He missed time, and AEW wasn't going to let him walk to WWE early. But from a creative standpoint, from a fan engagement standpoint, not generating buzz for his return was a mistake. Jericho deserved better. The fans deserve better. And AEW once again showed that they don't understand how to build anticipation for their own talent. Now, let's move on to the WWE. I generally don't understand how this situation with Stephanie McMahon is even real. Allegedly, Stephanie is told by her husband and his creative team committee that they need her on screen at Madison Square Garden for Monday Night Raw. Last Monday, they pitched her an in-ring segment with Cody Rhodes, and the plan, according to the report, is that by the end of it, Cody Rhodes is going to put her over before heading into WrestleMania to defend the WWE Championship. And here's where the logic completely collapses. Stephanie McMahon is a former head of WWE Creative. She knows how the business works. She knows what an on-screen rub means. She knows what it signals. And just like her husband, she didn't earn that creative position through education or industry experience. She got it because of nepotism. Her father put her there, and he wasn't going to fire his own daughter for a job she wasn't even qualified for in the first place. But even with all that said, how does Stephanie not turn around and ask the most obvious question in the world? Why is the WWE champion putting me over when I'm not defending the WWE Championship at WrestleMania in Las Vegas against Randy Orton. This segment on Monday, it made no sense from a creative standpoint. It made no sense from a storytelling standpoint. It made no sense from a business standpoint. If the goal is to elevate Cody heading into WrestleMania, why is he being used to elevate her? This is exactly the kind of decision that exposes WWE's biggest internal flaw. Once family members get involved, logic stops being the priority and the product ends up paying the price. It's been that way for decades, and moments like this remind you that nothing has really changed. Now, I'm speeding past the show. We're almost done. We only have a few more things to talk about. So, regarding the 2026 court filings and the additional details surrounding Janelle Grant's accusations against Vince McMahon, going forward, I'm keeping most of my personal thoughts private for now, but here's where I stand publicly. As somebody who follows both the on-screen product and the corporate machinery behind it, I generally hope this case stays in the public arena and doesn't get pushed into arbitration. Transparency matters here. If executives were aware of misconduct or inappropriate relationships and chose not to act, that's not just a lapse in judgment, that's complete failure and oversight. And if the allegations about silencing concerns or removing people who speak up turn out to be true, we're talking about behavior that's not only unethical but potentially illegal. Ultimately, situations like this should lead to genuine reform, stronger accountability, better protections for employees, higher standards for how companies in this industry operate. Wrestling deserves that. The people working in it deserve that. And the fans deserve a product built on something better than secrecy and damage control. Now, let's get into what happened on WWE Raw. What also happened on WWE Raw? Because Iyo Sky came dangerously close to a career-changing moment. And the fallout says a lot about where pro wrestling is in 2026. Iyo went for her trademark suicide dive, a move that she has executed flawlessly more times than we can count. But this time her right leg caught the middle rope and she went crashing head and neck first onto the floor. And with the floor, there's no real protection. No real cushioning. It's just a violent, unfiltered landing. And the alternate angle that hit social media made it look even worse. The whiplash, the impact, the crowd's reactions, their faces all told the story. And somehow Iyo got up and she finished the match and she walked out on her own. And that speaks to her toughness, but it also exposes how razor thin the line is between a highlight and a disaster. Here's where I'm at. I'm done with these through the top rope dives. I'm done with the spectacle for the sake of the spectacle mentality that WWE and the people backstage keep pushing through referees' earpiece. The suicide dives, the Spanish flies, weekly high-risk spots from guys like Javon Evans. It's too much. It's unnecessary, and it's conditioning fans to only react when something horribly goes wrong. We've seen it all before. 300-pound men diving off the top of cages. Iyo Sky putting a gimmick trash can over her head and jumping off a cage. The same high-risk spots are repeated until nobody cares. Hardcore fans barely pop for these moves anymore because they become background noise. The only time the audience wakes up is when the move botches, and that's a problem. Now, the good news is that Iyo isn't seriously injured. Reports say she's fine, she's moving forward, and yes, she's still planning to hit her signature dive on a weekly basis. But at some point, the industry has to ask itself a real question. Is the spectacle worth the danger? Because not everyone is going to walk away from a landing like the one Iyo took. Okay, so this show is almost about done. We just got one more thing to talk about. And with this being Friday, SmackDown's coming up. So if you want to hear my opinion on SmackDown, join us back here on the YouTube channel on sometime on Saturday to hear my opinion on SmackDown and a bunch of other news reports. So before I wrap up this recording, let me talk about some Canadian content. So here in Canada, we have two nationwide sports networks. We have TSN, we have Sportsnet. TSN is the Canada's first nationwide sports network. It's 10% owned by ESPN and ABC, Disney. They have signed a deal to run Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling coast to coast on their on the main TSN channel starting in July 2026. And I have a comment here from MLP owner and Windsor native Scott D'Amore. If you don't know who Scott D'Amore is, he's been involved with not only with independent Canadian wrestling, he's been very high profile in TNA since the very beginning. Most recently becoming the president of TNA upon his departure in I would say maybe early 2025, probably. So he in his comment towards landing a coast to coast national TV deal with TSN. I almost said ESPN. He says, and I quote, "To be coast to coast on national network is huge. To be part of bringing it back to Canadian fans is pretty humbling." And honestly, he's right. You know, this is a big deal for Canadian wrestling. The show will be named MLP Mayhem. It will debut in July on TSN with a time slot still to be announced. There's a lot of chatter that since TSN also is the Canadian home of AEW Dynamite airing live every week, that they should make it they should put it after Dynamite. But we'll see if that's the case. And I think this is gonna be a great thing. I'm definitely gonna tune in for the first couple of episodes come July. So with that being said, I'm back to recording weekly uploads here on Round No.1 YouTube channel. Enjoy SmackDown tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow right here on the Round No.1 YouTube channel. All right, take care.